As we had last left it off, the party at Baron Bark's hut found out that Baron Bark was being protected, in a manner of speaking, by an old spirit, a ghost, who seemed to have grown fond of Baron Bark. She refused to reveal herself due to fear of something called the Shepherd. The Shepherd is apparently an entity that takes spirits onwards, something that she doesn't want to happen. Wanting to learn more about this Shepherd, she pointed you towards Mad Walnut, who laid across the lake from where Baron Bark's hut was. Getting across there, you found, after about 10 minutes of walking, you found a dome made entirely of intense thistles and thorns and bushes and ivies and vines and all the sorts. However, this dome seemed to open due to Emron pumping some of his druidic magic into the dome itself. It opened up, and when you walked inside, you found a large enclosed grove filled to the brim with all manners of wonderful herbs and plants, spiritual, magnificent. It wasn't too long before you met a dryad, a fey creature heavily connected with nature and the spirits. This dryad, by the name of Popperus, eventually took you to go and introduce some of her friends. Curious, because they had never seen anybody else from beyond the dome before. They didn't even know people from beyond the dome even existed. You met with Rosnia and Artemius, who applied questions, got the feel for you, and then eventually took you to their leader, a dryad by the name of Sylvestris, who has the lower part of effectively a goat, and the upper part of a female. Sylvestris was the friend slash guardian of, friend slash caretaker of the Guardian. Guardian being Adwarnut, who protects the Hullen tree, a very big, ancient Hullen tree from in the centre of this dome. Now, Mad Walnut spoke in rhyme and riddles, but he told you of Zarius. Zarius, the god of opposites. From what you've been able to determine what Zarius said, or from what Mad Walnut said, Zarius tricked the old pantheon of gods to raise him to a much higher status, a divine being himself. When his duplicity was revealed, he was cursed with opposites. Ashamed of their failure, the gods departed from this realm, leaving Zarius to do what he pleased to this continent. The people suffered, till eventually Arta was awoken. Arta appeared to be apparently the father of the gods, if not the father, a being of a being of purity, something that the other gods looked to. Arta decreed that none shall live within Zarius' rule, and banished creatures away. Arta then placed protections on the continent to prevent people from coming back. And with that, Zarius fell into a slumber. But now that people are returning, that life is happening within the new world again. Zarius appears to have awoken, and with him his corrupting influence begins to spread. And it is this corrupting influence that seems to be making the Hullen trees sick. A contorted opposite of themselves, where the Hullen trees usually represent sanctity of life, a soul connection. What they are twisted into, something sick and rotting, bent on destruction of life. And you're reminded of when you fought that hag and that Hullen tree that came to life and attacked. Here's that it wasn't due to the hag that it was corrupted, but due to some other sinister presence. With that, Emron smiled and turned to you all and said that his mission that he'd been on for many, many years was finally complete. He finally found a place in the world that was full of all manners of herbs and medicines, plants that should not exist beyond the Feywild. It's going to take him a long time to catalogue and determine what all of these plants are, but apparently there was a sickness from where he came from, and his elders did not know what the cure was, and sent him out to find said cure in the new world. A tearful goodbye happened, and Emron departed from your party to stay with the Dryads and Mad Walnut and research all manners of life here. That was where we had left it off. So, you guys currently stand before the Hullen tree. The Dryads are still treating you with excited curiosity. However, many of them are shy, and as you try to approach them, they tend to scuttle and run away, disappearing into the very trees themselves. Some of the more braver ones, like Sylvestris, will stand their ground if you try to approach them. Sylvestris grants you sanctuary within this place called the Sanctuary, and that you may stay here for as long as you like. She cannot, however, issue you a key or anything. Only those who know the druidic ways or the powers of nature can open the door again. So, effectively, it is still the middle of the night. You guys may stay here for as long as you please until you decide to leave. And knowing that if you want to return to this place, somebody needs to become skilled enough in the druidic ways, or you need to find somebody else out there able to perform druidic magic. The Dryads themselves are not interested in leaving. They do not have a world view in that regard. They are very much content to stay where they are. Sylvestris will tell you 5 places of note within the sanctuary. They are the growth pods, the herbal foundations, the communions, the clarity waters, and the realm steps. If you seek rest, the growth pods is where you wish to go. If you seek medicines, herbs, anything like that, the herbal foundations is the place to go. If you seek food, or even if you have an affinity for animals, the communions is the place to go. If you are in need of healing or spiritual connection, Clarity Waters is where you'd like to go. And if you are interested in Fey magics, arcane-based stuff from the Feywilds, the Realm Steps is the place to go. What would you guys like to do?
I mean, it's a tough one. I got the option of food or maybe learning some magic. Like,
I'd definitely be interested in the Herbal Foundation.
I think Joprix would be interested in the Realm Steps.
when was the last time we ate?
Well, still, it's only been about a couple of hours since you left Barrenbark, so it's still the middle of the night, as far as your biological clocks are concerned. Like, the inside of this place is illuminated by the various reflections from the dome and the plants. Like, the moonlight just reflects off of all of these little petals and droplets, and just create kind of like a starry night that just bounces back and forth between everywhere, giving kind of like a moonlight / neon blue kind of color everywhere.
I think Lisma's newfound curiosity for magic would take him to the Realm Steps.
Okay. So, Lisma and Joprix, seeking knowledge and other such things, you make your way towards the direction of the Realm Steps. Oh, well,
Considering that it's the middle of the night and we're probably Joprix might think of a little bit of rest, but then probably making his way to Realm Steps. I mean, if we're all like really tired, like I don't know, is everybody a beat? Do we?
I'd say it's about 1. I'd say it's about 1 a.m. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be bedtime then.
Yeah, I'm probably down for some sleep.
How scale wise, how big is this? I understand it's forested, but could you theoretically kind of see everything from that middle point of the Holland tree, or is it like 30 minutes walk to the growth pods?
No. So you can theoretically see the entirety of the dome from where the Holland tree is.
Okay.
To go from one end to the next, it'll probably take you about maybe 40 minutes of walking, give or take. Like, it's a big dome, but not that big. The population here is only a few hundred.
Cora definitely wants to go. You said Herbal Foundations had information on plant life and flora and stuff like that here.
Yes. Yeah.
She would want to go there, but she would definitely feel like she needed to go to Clarity Waters first. But if everybody wanted to rest, seeing as how it would probably be at least 40 minutes from Clarity Waters to Growth Pods, that would be putting us at like 3 a.m. by the time we got there. So she would be okay with resting.
Right. So they don't believe in money here. They don't have a need for it. So the rest here is free. So if there's no objections, I assume the entire party heads towards the growth pods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so making your way over to the growth pods, there are a number of buildings built into the trees here, and each of these trees have extremely large petals growing out like several square feet worth of petals growing out. On each of these petals are large flowers, like budded up. That as you get closer to them, there is a dryad there that seems to be a caretaker of these particular ones. Seeing that you guys need rest, you can see her go up to one of the flowers, and she touches it on the underside in a certain way, kind of twists and strokes it a little, and the bud opens up into a large purplish-like flower with a yellow-like stem in the center. She gestures these flowers / pods are big enough for 2 people if you wish to bunk up with anybody, but there are enough flowers for each of you.
I'd go on my own with my dog next to me.
I wouldn't mind someone coming
He
with me
needs to
just
sleep.
in case the trees try to eat me again.
Or I
One of
would
the
tell you
dryads
that-
just go, don't worry, the trees don't eat you. Not in that way, anyway.
I think Joprix should make his way to a
In what way
pod by
do?
himself, but I get the feeling that Zarek's going to follow me.
Yep.
Snuggle buddies.
Lisbon will
Maybe-
hesitantly go to a pod, and as he's getting in, he will whisper to the pod, "Please don't eat me."
So it opens up. You climb in. It's actually quite spongy and soft, kind of like wavy, long but non-itchy grass. As you clamber into the middle of it, and you just rest there. You wait for a minute or so, and after there's after you just stay still for just a minute, the petals, the bud closes up again and puts you in this small little pod, and it's not completely dark inside. The inside of the pods, it's almost as if you're staring out into a clear night sky. The stars, the nebulas, you can pretty much. It feels like you were just staring out into space inside the small little pod. You could watch it for hours and be mesmerized. However, sleep does eventually overtake you, and you are able to rest. When you guys, if anybody bunked up, did anybody want to roleplay with each other?
Probably not. Pretty much tired from the day's journey, so
Yeah, crossing the river. It's been a long day. Sleep.
Yeah. Okay, so eventually you all come to consciousness, and you get up, and you Curious has to get out of this thing. You sort of feel around, and once you touch the inside of the petals, do the buds then open up again, and you're able to climb your way out. The inside of this dome very much appears to be the same, except that instead of a neon blue light now, there's kind of a radiant light bouncing back and forth between everywhere. The difference between the moonlight bouncing off, shimmering through the dome, and sunlight shimmering through the dome. You get the feeling that's how they're able to tell day cycles here. Just the colour of the immediate place. As you clamber out, nobody can speak Druidic or Sylvan, can they?
9.
Can Bark speak Druidic?
No, because he's not a druid.
I didn't know. I thought he said that he had it, and I didn't know if that was for Ranger or whatever.
I'm just going to check, see what his languages he's got. No, he knows Common, Elvish, and Infernal, and Orc. And we just lost Kieri.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll see when she gets back to us. Okay, so... When you get out of the flower pods, Cora, that young dryad is there on the stem of the leaf, just kind of sitting down cross-legged and looking at you. The one that Emron identified as Popperus. She's looking at you specifically with those large black eyes that she has, just kind of unblinking. She's just slowly caressing her fingers across the top of the leaf. You can see, like, each time she does that, like a little bit of green energy just shoots forth from her fingers and just creates like small little toadstools that grow on the leaf themselves, and eventually they just kind of fade away after a few seconds.
I was absolutely fascinated by that. I don't think that she had spoken Common at all. She was
No.
speaking either Druidic or Sylvan with.
That's right, yeah.
She was speaking Druidic with Emron because he didn't speak Sylvan either. How far apart are these pods?
There's like I'd say like there's a 15-20 feet gap between each
Well, I
pod or
could
so.
like.
But these leaves are massive. Like each leaves holds probably about six to eight flowers on each one. Like, so, it's a little anxiety inducing because like you're quite a few feet up, and each step you take on the leaf, whilst doesn't like ricocheted the whole thing, it's spongy and you dip with each step that you take into the leaf itself.
Then she would, before she tried anything else, she would look at Popperus and say, that's beautiful. I wish I could do that. And she'll kind of stroke the immediate area and see if it's something that just happens or if it's something that she's able to do.
No, it's something that she seems to be able to do. But she watches you do that, and she just chuckles to herself. Is it a dishes?
Bless you.
So knowing that she doesn't understand, I recognized Sylvan, right? Is that what she's speaking?
Yes.
Okay. So I would try in Gnomish and Elvish to see if she understood any of those other languages that I spoke, and say, do you understand?
She seems to have a more familiarity with Elvish, but in that it's broken for her. Like, she barely understands the language, but she does pick up a few words here and there.
And Emron is completely gone at this point?
Emron has departed. Last you checked, he said he was going to the Herbal Foundations.
Okay. Vorkris, are you able to cast Comprehend Languages?
I mean, yes, I'll be able to understand her, but I don't know if she'll be able to understand us.
Fuck, we just got Rio, we just got all of those messages all at once.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was weird. No, we couldn't hear you or see you, so that's the answer to that.
I would tell Vorkris that I can cast tongues, and maybe we can see if she has any other information that she wants to give us.
I will cast Comprehend Languages, but as usual, it is not prepared, so I will have to ritual cast it.
So then, while I'm waiting, I would, seeing as how she recognized a little bit of Elvish, I would just point to like the toadstool and go, pretty, and then point to myself and say, I like, and just in very broken, basic Elvish, try and keep her attention while Vorkris is doing his magic.
Okay. So she seems to have a quite short attention span, almost childlike in nature. She watches, or she recognizes some of the words, but she also recognizes that Orcus is glowing with magic sigils. Vroom, vroom, vroom. She doesn't. It's not that she fears it. It's just more of a case of like she doesn't know what it is. So she doesn't. They live in a very secluded place where they don't know what fear is. So her natural reaction to this isn't fear. It's more, what's that sort of thing. So
we could teach them.
What will happen is, whilst you are ritual casting this, Vorkris, Popyrus will wander over to you, and she'll start poking at some of the sigils that glow on the ground. Like, it's basically just spectral energy that just happens as part of the ritual. It doesn't disrupt the ritual in any way, but she's just, like, confused by it. She's never seen something like this before. C'est des quoi dish? Terrible? Yes, trait.
I carry on, trying to ignore her briefly.
She sits down. Hold on. Stop hitting the damn door, Millie. Bugger off. Hey. A bloody dog of mine. She lays next to the door and just scratches herself, but every time she does, it just goes whack, 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 whack on the bloody
I
door.
was like, who in the heck who's Millie? Who's
Yeah. My dog.
If somebody's at his door at almost 8 o'clock at night, that's rude. Knocking like that.
I thought maybe you had a senile neighbor or something like that. It was coming over and banging on your door.
So, what she will do as you continue on with your ritual casting is that she's going to sit down in front of you and assume exactly the same pose that you were doing, Vorkris. And she's going to start doing some druidic magic. And while she's not doing the same spell as you, she matches the same sigils that are creating, but instead of like a greenish energy from you, this is more of a violet, like spectral energy from her. In fact, many of the symbols that gets traced onto the ground start growing like those little toadstools itself. It looks like she's very much like a child. She's just copying you, is in the best way that she knows how.
Or maybe in a minute she'll be able to understand us too. Depends on how well she can copy me.
So, eventually, you complete Comprehend Languages. And when you do, the spell, and you're able to understand any language spoken to you. And there's that minor, brief, light exposition. The completion of the ritual happens. Opera just goes, "Oh, is that what we do now?" And then she just waves her hands, and then the whole thing goes. But a little bit different. The energy that actually courses out from her is kind of like a pulse wave. And Vorkris and Cora, I imagine that you are relatively close to her. You get washed in this pulse wave, and just for a brief moment, leaves and vines start growing on your clothes before they kind of just like disappear away.
I'm enchanted and then completely disappointed that they've gone away.
They last for a few seconds.
I'm the exact opposite.
I know. I'm like, oh, Vorkris is like, ah!
So she says to you, Vorkris, "That was fun. What do we do now?"
Can you understand me?
Can you speak Sylvan?
No. I'll shake my head.
Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
I will nod my head.
Oh, so you can speak Sylvan.
No.
So I will cast tongues. I'm assuming I understand what's happening over there, and say, "Hi, I'll be able to speak to you, but I won't be able to understand you. He will be able to understand you. And so he can tell me what you're saying, and I can tell. Yeah, we should be able to make this work, though. That was really amazing what you were able to do.
Oh, you're like the jujube plant.
We've got a jujube plant? What's a jujube plant?
Do you say that? Does Cora say that to her?
Yeah, so we'll just be a translation circle here.
No worries. So she looks at the both of you and she says, the jujube plant is a two-headed plant, where one has the receptors and one has the expungers. So you have the eyes and you have the ears. You're like the jujube.
Exactly.
I look at Vorkris thinking we have some sort of great connection now, like we're Jujuber buddies.
I go and stand behind Cora and try and like put my head over her shoulder. I don't know if I'm even tall enough to do that, but just so it looks like we're like one two-headed person.
So
You're gonna have to go out of my armpit.
So
yeah,
she's looking at both of you, and because you two look very, very different from the rest of the party, she's just highly curious of you. I've never seen. What is that thing growing out of your bum? And she's pointing towards you, Vorkris.
it's a tail, and I'll like kind of take it and just like hold it and string it around. Like, look, you can touch it if you want.
She does.
I'll make it whip back and forth.
So, Sylvestris said that any one of us can speak to you, but everybody's really, really shy. But I'm not shy. Where did you come from?
We came from a land far away, across the big sea, if you've even seen the sea.
I've never... What is the sea?
Do you have a lake, a pool of water here?
We have the waters that come from the Holland tree.
Well, imagine that, but if you're stood at the edge of the water and you're looking over the water, all you can see is water for as far as you can see.
Wow.
And we had to cross on a big ship.
What's a ship?
It's a big wooden, like, container thing that people can go on, and because it's wooden, it floats on the water, and we float all the way across the sea.
Wood floats on water?
It does.
I thought it just crashes down and creates a big...
Not in water. It'll make a splash, but then it'll float.
Wow. What's your home like? Is it like this place?
It used to be, once upon a time. But
What happened?
People have cut down all the trees and they've taken all the minerals out the hills, and it's the land is dying.
Oh, that's sad. Do you want to?
That's why we came here.
Wouldn't you try to regrow everything again? Wouldn't you try to fix everything? I mean, the trees and the plants, they will die, but then you just plant new ones.
But we don't have any power at home, and the people that are in charge and keep cutting down more and more trees, they're cutting them down quicker than we can plant them.
I would pull out the piece of corrupted hallandry, and I would say, so some of us try, but there is a deity that is poisoning the land and corrupting some holland trees even, and I'm trying my best to figure out how to stop it from happening or reverse it once it's happened, but I had nothing I've done so far is successful. Do you know how to stop this? Or fix it?
She waves her hand over it, over the corrupted piece of hallandry, and absolutely nothing happens. She goes, "Oh, that's not happened before. That's some very, very bad stuff. Sylvestris would know more. Maybe the Guardian too."
Then I'd put that back in my bag of holding. And I tell her, you guys have so many wonderful plants and magics here. Do
Do you need some?
Do you have some to share?
We have everything to share. We're a communion here. What's ours is yours, and what's what we say to each other.
Cora's gonna have this huge smile. Cooperation is the best way to get things done. It's the way worlds survive. It's the way the world heals. I
What
wish
does
more people.
What does coagulation mean?
Oh, coagulation is different, but cooperation means that you work together. And really, like what you said, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours.
So it's good that we copulate with each other.
That's again a different word. If
You get the feeling
it's
that
very red.
you get the feeling that Popperus is quite literally a child and just doesn't understand the bigger words.
Basically, cooperation means doing things together, and it sounds like you guys do things. You work
Friendship.
together, right?
Friendship.
Yes, friendship.
I like friends. Tell you what, we can be friends if you want.
I would really like that.
Well, friends give things to each other, don't they?
Sometimes it doesn't have to be something physical. Sometimes it's just love and kindness to one another. Sometimes that's a really big gift.
Tell you what, if you I want to learn more about your home. If you want to bring me things from the old world, little trinkets, I can give you a gift.
Oh, what kind of things do you like? And I'm gonna reach into my bag and grab like a bunch of the Wonderwood berries. And I don't know what these do yet, but do you like things like this?
Wonderwood berries. Oh, sorry, she doesn't say that. She says, I have to bloody find a name for them.
Sorry.
The Gashanums.
Oh, do you know what these do then?
Yeah, they numb your burn when you get if you ever get hit with a burn thing. The Gashanums they take it away.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's amazing.
You have to ground them up into like a jelly-like thing and apply a little water, and then you apply it over onto the burn, and it gets rid of it.
So you have a lot of knowledge of these kind of things. I'm gonna pull out.
That's child knowledge. Rosnia knows more.
I'm gonna pull out this unknown plant that I have. It has a white bud and a blue stem. And go. Do you know what this one does?
Nope. Rosnia will know. I know how to grow it.
That's a really important thing too. I'm gonna look inside some more and see. I'm looking at what Emerald's got.
But she's like, as you're going through all of this, she's like getting a little bit bored. She says, "No, that's just stuff we can find here. I want stuff from your work, from your home."
So I'm going to pull out a. By my home, do you mean where I originally came from, or where we just were outside of this dome?
Over the big water that you took a ship to get from.
Oh, I don't really have many things from when I was home. I'm gonna
Namely, just in
on
terms
the ship, and the ship sank, and we
namely,
lost lots of things.
In terms of game mechanics, if you bring Popperus trinkets from the old world, when you give her enough, she can give you a Fey gift.
Right.
If Joe Pricks has got rope, he might say, "Look, we've used hemp, create rope."
Wow.
Oh, it's obviously I have to have it
We
translated.
use something like that in vines.
Yeah, the same idea. Same idea.
I have a little
So-
bag of sand, which is part of my component stuff, but that would have come from the old world, and that might interest her. So it's like, this sand came from all the way across, right? It might look the same, but
Basically, in the PHB, there are loads of there's a trinkets page. Basically, if you get items from the trinkets and bring them to her, that's what she's looking for, basically.
okie doke.
Yeah, like page 160 of the PHB. There are crap tons of trinkets in there. So, Popperus, now that she can communicate with you, will go on to tell you a little bit more about the growth pods. They are effectively used as beds. This is where the dryads, they do need to sleep. And if they don't sleep exactly where they are, they will retire to one of these pods. So they're used as beds, but they are also the places where new dryads are born. Now, the process of...
Hopefully not while we're sleeping in them.
No. You could certainly try, Zurich, if you want to give her your dirty old socks.
Yeah, it's nothing on the list, so yeah, I'll take my
So
socks off and stand them on.
She given us sweaty socks, and she holds them up like that. And she goes, "Wow, what do they do?"
Popperus is a free dryad.
You just wear them and they keep your feet warm.
Oh!
Try them on.
She puts them on her hand. She puts them on her hands. She smells them a little bit. She goes, "Oh, they smell like dead plants."
Yes, that's another bonus to them.
She bundles them up into a little ball. She waves her hands, and they disappear into her body. Thank you. Have you got any more?
I think so.
So, from her basic understanding of, because she is a child dryad, she explains that because the dryads here are cut off from the rest of the Fey realm because of what Utter did, it takes a long time for a dryad to be born, because it requires gathering Fey energy. There's only a limited amount of Fey energy that is created in their walled-off section of the Fey realm. She does actually explain that she is the youngest dryad in the village. She is about, give or take, about 60, nearly 70 years old. But to a dryad, that's very, very young. The next dryad that's due to be born is in about a month. And she's been gestating for about 80 decades.
Wow.
And when
80 decades?
Yes. That's how long it takes for a dryad to be born here, basically. And when she is born, it's going to be a large village celebration, because it's not every day that a new dryad is born, and it takes a hell of a long time for a dryad to be born here, especially when they're walled off. Vorkris, you're an intelligent individual. You just do a quick count of the immediate area, just in your head. And Joe Bricks, you would do this as well. You can count just over 200 gestation pods growing more dryads at the moment. And from your understanding of what Popperus tells you, creating a new dryad is almost a holy process, as it drains the two parent dryads of their fey energy that they fall into slumber for many, many years. So it's almost like a really long goodbye to two of them just to make one more that's not going to be born for a very long time anyway. So
Doesn't
it's
seem
kind of
very
like
efficient.
it's well, they just walled off here. You get the feeling that dryads don't die of old age. They just
So are they aware that they are dying off then from a 2-to-1 trade-off?
no, they don't die off. They just go into a slumber for many, many years before they gather enough energy to wake up again.
Okay.
So like a dryad can take up to like, between 50 to 100 decades to be born, whereas the two parents that create the dryads, like combining combining and giving their energy into a gestation pod, they might fall asleep for between 20 to 30 years.
So I think Joprix would give Chris his rabbit's foot, and probably she might not, if they don't understand death, might understand exactly what happened. But in the simplest terms, through translation, I think Joprix would try to say this was part of a friend who was with me, then stopped existing and left forever. And so I keep this, but part of my little friend as a memory that brings me good luck. I think that he would be happy to just have this part of him rest with you.
Oh, I really like it. Can I have it, please?
You can.
Thank you. She takes it and she's like, oh, it's spongy and fairy. Thank you so much. And she waves her hand and the rabbit's paw will disappear into her body. So you've now done 2.
I think when Joprix goes to do his portent, instead of lighting the pipe, I don't think that they would like that very much. I think he would kind of roll the little rabbit bones and try to divine what was going to happen for the day through that.
Sure. Go ahead and make your
I feel
divination
using
rolls.
dead animal parts probably won't do them.
And I don't,
Probably
yeah,
wouldn't
no,
really get that
I
either.
just think it's a little bit better than burning something.
Well,
And then
if you would
then
like
if they
to
ask-
eat, if you'd like to eat their food, you'll have to head over to community. You get the feeling they are. You won't. This is like the purest vegan diet here.
Yeah,
I want a kebab.
Cora's excited.
7 and 14.
Orcus is not excited and wants to leave
Like
immediately.
they don't eat. Like you get the feeling they don't even eat. They don't even eat plants that even have the hint of being sentient here. Like they eat a very, very specific diet. Like mainly nuts, to be honest. Nuts don't have consciousness.
Level 5 vegan, you don't eat anything that casts a shadow.
But Popperus is super happy to take any trinkets that you have, and if you get her more, then she will give you a fey gift.
It's finding our way back in here after we leave, which could be a problem.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
You can figure that out.
So, where would you guys like to go from here?
I'd happily go to Herbal Foundations.
Okay.
Very curious about this Fey magic. I wonder if I could actually learn anything.
So you
Yeah,
head off over to the
Joprix
realm.
too. Yeah, the realms, I think, for Joprix.
The Herbal Foundations is a place I wanted to go anyway, so I would go with Borkris.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go to the realms as well. Sounds interesting.
All right. Kerry will cast Warding Wind and stay where she is. Kerry likes the pods, so she's going to stay in the pods for a little while. until she comes back.
Be careful with that wind. Don't damage the pods.
The pod just goes from inside. Right, so as we're just in Cora and Volcrus, we'll go with Jorprix, Lisma, and Xeric.
Before
So-
we leave Papyrus,
Yep.
I would like to ask her: Is my magic will only last for so long? Is there anyone else here who speaks anything other than Sylvan or Druidic?
Maybe that's the broken old Hallen you speak.
I'll speak in Elvish. I'll say this language.
Yeah, the broken old Hallen.
Broken old Hallen.
So the elves come from
That's-
Hallen.
Well, I mean, if you're saying that out loud, I would say they seem very welcoming of Emron, and he's Eladrin, right? Eladrin.
Yep. Yep.
So maybe there is something to that. But who speaks the broken old Hallen?
Some of the older ones, Artemis and Rosnir, definitely Sylvestris, I think. I know that the Guardian can speak with everyone.
Oh, okay, that's really good to know.
It's purely because Mad Walnut can speak telepathically with people, so.
Okay. If you need to talk to us again, though, you can come and go like this to me, and I'll know that we need to figure out how to communicate again.
Okay. She just starts walking around doing that. She goes up to a couple of other dryads that just sort of talk amongst themselves. She just goes, and they just kind of roll their eyes at her and just they join in with her in a playful way. And 3 dryads just go to each other. So, Jorprix, Lisma, and Xeric, making your way onto the other side of the dome. Eventually, you get to the relatively large body of river. There's a small bridge that's made pretty much entirely out of nature, like vines, branches, all weaved and connected together. I mean, looking into the water below, it is crystal clear. You can see every single pebble, every single rock, every single little spectral bit of fish that swims past. Eventually, you get to a specific area, and your jaws drop a little bit. There is a huge portal above you that's white in nature. Pulsates. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And there are 2 spiraling staircases that go up to it, but the staircases are made of what could literally be solidified light. These light staircases that just spiral up into the portal and beyond. At the base of these steps, there are a few dryads that they seem to be casting some forms of druidic magic. They seem to be passing energy back and forth between each other, and on occasion from the portal you'll see this small little gas, this little purplish like gas come down from the portal itself, and when it does, these 3 to 4 dryads that you can see that these doing these magic shoots upwards, this like a spiraling bit of energy that just encircles around this gas and compresses it into a small ball before eventually it comes down and breaks off into 4 different directions and goes into each of the dryads. And when they do, you notice that these dryads, they looked a little wizened, a little older. And when they take in this energy, that wizenedness goes away and they just become more youthful. Having
Try
Sorry,
and communicate, but I don't think it's going to work.
you speak with these dryads, And as soon as they see you, they run away. They're very, very shy of you. You don't recognize any of the. You don't recognize any of the dryads around here as any of the ones you've communicated with so far, and all of them seem quite shy of you. I want you three to go ahead and make just a general perception check for me, please. Nice.
Nice.
So, Xeric and Jorprix, you guys recognize some of the sigils on the ground that are very, very old, made of they're stones, like placed in a certain way to create sigils. Now, Xeric, this is a little bit beyond your expertise, but you do recognize them. Jorprix, this is very much within your realm of expertise. You recognize these sigils as arcane-based sigils, and they're in a circle.
I would just say I would relay that.
Jorprix, noticing the circle of sigils around you, you realize and you recognize that this is a very, very old and active teleportation circle. You've heard of these. You've never casted it yourself. You do know it's within the realm of expertise that somebody like you could potentially learn in the future.
So I would say, Xeric, close, look at this. What this is?
Not entirely sure. I only know basic magic.
This strong magic. This is beyond my capabilities, but now. But this is means to teleport between planes, right, Jack?
A teleportation circle can, as the spell would tell you, basically, it's kind of like a phone book, like a phone number. Once you know the phone number, when you cast teleportation circle, wherever you are, you can go to that teleportation circle. It doesn't take you beyond plane of existence. It has to be on the same plane of existence as you.
Okay. So this would take you to another location similar to this and connect you and instantly transport you to another place. This is incredible.
Do you think we should copy any of the runes down? Maybe you could use them later on. I know it's out of the realms for me to be able to use, but
let's do this. And I think Jorprix would have his spell book, and even though this isn't a spell so much, right? I think I would probably scribble the runes, right? The all everything that he sees, he would try to diagram it out onto a page, just to have the information.
So, I'll say you spend the better part of a little while copying down the address for the Sanctuary Teleportation Circle.
Excellent.
Xeric, you watch, and you know a little bit of magic, so your reason, this is not something you'll ever be able to do, but it's still interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
Lisma, from your perspective, they're writing down rocks, boring. So you have just to look around. So the dryads, you can see the dryads are nearby, but they are hiding behind trees. They're just sort of peeking out on occasion to look at you. They're just super shy. And as you're sort of staring at them, and as Lisma and Jorprix are doing this, that portal above you, another bit of that purplish mist puffs out, smaller than the last time, but it just kind of hazes there. And it starts drifting slowly downwards. It takes about a 4 minute for actually to kind of get to ground level, and then it just kind of doesn't disperse. It just kind of stays like a very small cloud of gas. It's about 15, 20 feet from you.
How long has it been since the last time that happened?
It took about between 10 and 15 minutes or so.
I think Joprix would go sit in that spot.
You are
Copying
currently
stuff down.
copying stuff down. This is what
Oh,
Liz
still
says.
copying it down? Okay.
I think Lisbon would definitely go sit in that spot, be like, what the hell was that? And go have a look.
Right, so you go up to it. Getting closer to it, you can. So it's warm. It's fuzzy. In some cases, it's tingly. Do you continue to get closer to it?
I think I would. If it doesn't feel uncomfortable, I think it'd continue.
It doesn't feel uncomfortable. I mean, it feels different. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. As you get closer and closer, eventually you're standing right next to it. It's kind of like your airways open up a little bit, like you can breathe a lot more clearer. You can through your nose opens up, and you can just like sniff a bit easier. Like it's just a rejuvenating thing about this little puff of gas. Just being close into it, it's it's beneficial in some manner or form. But now that you're quite close to it, you can see on varying occasion there are like minuscule little sparks of light within it, almost kind of like little courses of electricity, if that. There seems to be, for that lack of the better word, power radiating from within it.
I think Lisbon would like try and focus on it and try to, I don't know, harness it somehow without really knowing how.
Lisma, you will extend your hand a little, inching closer and closer to this little bit of gas. And as your fingers touch it, that little bit of electricity just kind of zaps you a little bit. Just, ow! It doesn't hurt. Just like kind of like a tiny little sting. That's just like a little static shock sort of thing. It's like, ooh, right, that's weird. But it's odd. You feel like you want to do that again.
Then he definitely would.
Okay, so he does it again. Oh, then again. Oh, and then like on the fourth time, you're able to keep it there for like a few seconds. And the cloud disperses. And you withdraw your hand, you're thinking, that was weird. And then through your peripheral vision, you can see that bit of a glow. You look down towards your hand, which is currently crackling with energy, lightning.
I would probably run back to Borkus and be like, Joprix, sorry, and be like, what the
Yep.
fuck is this? Look at
So-
this. Look at my hands.
As you're sketching these runes, Joprix, Lisma's run up to you. His hand is coursing electricity, like just radiating around his palm.
Does it hurt?
Feels tingly.
It feels tingly, huh?
Yeah. Very tingly. Like it stung a little, but now I kind of like it.
Okay. Right. I mean, let me know if it starts to hurt. Let me finish writing all this down.
Zurich, I mean, you'd have a look at that. I don't know if it's a spell that you can cast, but you're intelligent enough to know that that looks like what a hand looks like just prior to when it casts Shocking Grasp.
Ah.
Don't come near me with that.
What is it, Zurich?
Get that thing away from me.
Yeah. It looks like somehow he's managed to be able to muster the energy to cast Shock and Grasp, and I don't want to be hurt by that.
What do you mean shocking grasp? And I'll just jokingly try to reach out at him.
Nope.
Up his hand off.
Okay, just
Just,
It's
like,
an attack
imagine
roll.
someone that's never handled a gun just being like,
Yeah.
I want Zurich to go and make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, Lord. These are not my strong point.
Alright, so, Lisma, as you just like, what could possibly go wrong, you just reach out and you just tap Zurich on the shoulder, and that energy just goes, and just, like, Zurich, it just gives you a little, oh! Like, zaps you just a little bit. Doesn't do any damage, but it's like, ooh, your gonads feel a little tingly from that. But the energy has dispersed from your hands, Lisma, and your hand has returned to normal.
Yeah, I was.
well, why'd you take it off
That's
me?
good.
I was having fun with that.
You were lucky that that didn't do more than what it was supposed to do, because I could tell you if I was still standing, we'd be having proper words.
I was gonna suggest that you go Galik, and then let us know what happens. I think it'd be a valuable lesson.
With
As
that,
you guys
Lisma
are
would
saying
probably
this-
go to the communions to go get some food.
Well, as you turn around, Lisma, there's a green dryad there. One that you don't recognise that's sort of standing just beneath the portal, just sort of looking at you. And without even saying anything, she just walks up to you and just grabs your hand and starts inspecting it.
Oh,
Do you do anything?
yeah, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, I wouldn't react badly. I'd just be like, what are you doing?
Gonna go get this little kid.
Ah, yes. Both the characters that can comprehend things are somewhere else.
Not
Should
well
Anyone
thought
speak
out.
tree?
Does anyone speak Elvish in that group?
I don't know. I speak Gnomish, but it's not close
I've
enough.
got Celestial and Infernal, I believe.
I've just got common and dwarvish.
So she just points to your hand. She just goes, Ege. Ege.
No, it's not an egg. It's my hand.
Can I try memorize that word so I can?
Yeah. She points up towards the portal, and then down to the remains of that little dispersed purplish gas, which is evaporating by the second, and then towards your hand, and then like from your hand, she just weighs it like no sort of thing, and she points towards your chest, and then towards the portal, and then back towards your chest. It just goes. She doesn't say anything else. She just hand motions from chest to outwards.
So I think Lisma would get the sense he needs to breathe in the energy somehow. So if the purple stuff comes down again, he would try again.
Takes a little while, probably in this time about 20 minutes before the purplish gas comes down again. And you breathe it again, but you go up to it and you breathe it. But as you go to breathe it, that dryad who's gotten a little bit more comfortable with you just like stops you. Just goes. She points towards the gas, and she goes. She points towards the portal, and just goes. She points towards you, and just goes.
You offended them and you just cut your heart out to make amends.
Yeah, an offering to them.
Iga means sacrifice. Sorry.
Yala.
I did.
Yala. Yala.
So I think Lisma then would try and breathe out into the gas.
She shakes her head. She points towards her own hands, and you can see a bit of druidic sparkle energy just come out. Like mushrooms and flowers grows in her hands. and she closes her fist and she points towards herself. And then she points towards you and then to your hands. And it just goes the same motion again. Points towards you, to your hand, and then.
So Lisman will reach out his hand into the cloud again and then touch himself on the chest.
I think she's trying to say to you, Lisma, that you need to release the magic that's inside you.
Oh, right. So Lisman would focus then, trying to, I guess, feel the same energy that he felt from the sparks earlier. Because now like, he's felt what that feels like, he'll try and like focus in on that and try and then focus that onto the cloud.
Make a charisma check. You look at it. You focus, trying to remember that sensation from that purplish gas. As you think, focus. You open your eyes, and that energy is coursing around your hand again. It only stays for about 2 seconds before it disperses. And you get the feeling you're not there yet. But that feeling within you, something's there. Maybe you just need a little bit more time. The Dryad smiles and nods her head. In a kind of like, you get it sort of way.
With that, let's go back to job hooks and probably demonstrate that again. Like that. Look, I think I've got something after that, but I just quite can't grasp it.
There may be a magical force within you, Ismer, and previously untapped wellspring of a magical ability. I've seen this before. This is something that I don't have. I learned all of my magic through study, but there are those who actually have magical abilities. You may have that.
Well, as far as you're aware, Jobrix, every single creature does have the capacity to do magic. But some of those creatures can draw upon it innately. Others just learn how to use that connection they have to influence the weave, such as what you do. There are ways to bend the weave by study, but you still have to have that gift of magic within you in order to do that. So when you expend the spell slots, you're physically exhausting yourself to bend the weave. Whereas if a sorcerer was to expend the spell slot, they are draining their own force of will to do what they do. There are many forms of magic. It all comes from a spark within oneself.
I'm going to assume that Joprix explained it in that way and be like, well, I wonder what this will become. And I'm hungry now. So is it breakfast? I think it's breakfast time. I'm going to go get some food.
By this time, you've finished the translations, Joprix, and is there anything else you guys want to do in the realm steps, or do you want to move on?
I think Lisbon would be very hungry right now. So, and is it after 9 a.m.? I need to know.
I think I'd only want to make yes. I think Joprix would only want to make an Arcana check to see if there's anything else of note.
Yeah, go right ahead.
If that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Not a good one. Anyway.
This is not beyond. The energy here is beyond your expertise. The only thing that sticks out to you like a sore thumb is the fact there is an arcane-based teleportation circle in a realm or an area completely full of nature-based magic.
I think I would definitely talk to Zarek about that and say that this is, I wouldn't say necessarily totally out of place, but this is an arcane function. This particular portal in a realm of natural magic in a natural environment. It's a little unique to this place. I've copied everything down, and I don't know if we would have to be druids in order to gain entry back into this realm. But we have the location now, so that if we were able to find a reciprocal portal, I think we could make it back if we had to make it back here.
Or if you cast teleportation circle anywhere in the world, if you knew the spell, you could go to this place.
So if I had that spell, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
to find a different one and connect it.
No.
Okay.
It's like you are the mobile phone dialing the landline.
Nice.
We could ask the Mad Walnut about how this came about. Then, if it seems to be odd that it's here,
It's a great idea.
we should
I
probably
think
go.
the Mad Walnut is quite knowledgeable about all this magic as well, so I'd probably ask him about, like, show him what's happened and see if he could tell me any information about what I've got. If
You
it's going to
can
kill me or not, you know.
Certainly get breakfast on the way. Like,
Definitely need breakfast first. It's after 9 a.m. Like, I'm allowed now.
Yeah, we'll grab some food and meet up with the others.
Okay. So you guys start making your way over towards the communions. Okay, so Cora and Vorkris. Splitting off from the others, you make your way over to the Herbal Foundations. And when you get there, you see rows and rows of vineyards, gardens, groves, and other such things that just fill completely to the brim with all manners of plants and herbs, medicines, life. Vorkris, you do note that many of these rows are hydrated with an irrigation system that seems to be magical in nature. Not the kind of magic you would do, but still interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, I will happily go up and have a look around that.
Make an Arcana check.
Try and work out how it works.
Bit beyond your expertise on this one, Vorkris.
Yeah.
But both of you can tell that this is where they seem to grow, reseed, and otherwise utilize the benefits of the herbs here. This particular area is not heavily populated. There's only like 2 or 3 dryads about. One of them is the one you recognize, Rosnia.
I will
It's like
wave friendly.
She kind of sees you wave at her, and then just kind of coys away over to like another row, just kind of to hide herself a little bit in the vines and the plants. Like, you get the feeling she's probably one of the most shyest people here.
Okay, I won't make her uncomfortable. I'll leave her alone.
When she does that, though, I'll remember that the other one said that she was one of the ones that spoke some Elvish. And
Yes.
so I'll call out in Elvish. It's okay. You don't have to be scared of us. We would just love to look around and learn and see what's here.
Go and make a persuasion roll.
Yeah.
She buries herself even more into the vines.
Being the awkward thing that she is, it's okay. Sometimes I get nervous around people too, but if you decide you want to come and talk to us, I had a lovely conversation with Papyrus earlier, but we'll be over here. And then I'll just walk back towards Vorkris. She's feeling a
Papyrus?
little shy.
Yeah,
Papyrus?
I got that.
Yes, Papyrus.
She like her head, like half of her head is poking out, so you just see her eye and half of her face from around the corner of that row. She's just like, she's not making eye contact with you. She's just kind of like she's looking away. She's so shy.
I'd like to, if she's looking at us, make a gesture towards just any herbs that are nearby, and like make a picking gesture, and then point to ourselves, asking if it's okay.
No, she like comes around completely with her head and just goes, like shakes her head and just disappears again.
Well, that's sad. But I'd still like to know. So basically, I'd be comparing the notes I got from Nature's research.
Yep.
And trying to identify any of the herbs from that to see if I can recognise them. So that at least, even if I can't take ones in here, there's a better chance I'll recognise them back on the other side.
I would say you spend the better part of an hour wandering amongst these rows trying to find them because there are thousands and thousands of plants here. And you do find some that match what Nature put in her notes. Cora, your passive perception would certainly pick up that Rosnia is never more than a row or two behind you. She seems to be not watching you, but following you a bit.
I'll just make a mental note of that, and I really would love for her to come and talk to us, so I don't want to acknowledge her. I'm just going to be aware of where she is in my peripheral.
Well, I want you both to make general charisma checks, please. Over the course of the hour that you over the course of the hour that you spend like looking at all these herbs.
Yeah.
I mean, Vorkris, you're a gruff individual. You look menacingly like a dragonborn. Cora, you are a hulking individual.
Awkward panda.
With heavy armor. She is very, very nervous of you, and she will not make an attempt to approach you.
I was very sad about this. It's also a little frustrating. The ones that we did recognize, cataloged in Nature's Journal, what did it say that they did?
Well, there are several of them. Stuff that you know already. A few of them, like her notes on the matters aren't complete, shall we say. There's one particular plant that sort of sticks out to you a bit. It's kind of like a very small pinkish like toadstool with blue and yellow spots on it, and no bigger than like your pinky or something like that. It looks like Nature had a hell of a lot of trouble trying to figure out exactly what this did, but she recognized it was potent in something despite its size. She also noted it was extremely rare. Like, she only found one of them in the place that they would appear to be growing. You find
How many do we see here?
You find an entire section of them filled with hundreds of them.
God damn it.
So I would pretend like I don't know where Rosnia is and just kind of not yell because I don't want to scare her, but speak a little more loudly. Rosnia, I have a question. You don't have to come near us if you're scared, but we have these notes on different herbs, and we're trying to figure out how to help the people of our world and heal the people of our world. And we recognize this one, but we don't know what it does. Could you please tell us what it does?
Make another persuasion roll.
I'm gonna give myself guidance this time.
Okay.
Ha! Hold on. I'm gonna do it anyway. Shit.
There's a rule that works in the campaign as well. If you say you're going to give yourself guidance, you roll well.
So, like, you look around in the rows and rows of the vineyards that you're in. You don't see her. But eventually, you hear a voice from another row on the section over. Speak, Bad Hallen. You.
Yes, it's the only language I have to communicate. I'm sorry, it's broken.
Why happened language broken?
Don't know. It's how I learned it.
Like garden?
Beautiful.
My friends.
The garden friend?
Yes.
I friend plants too.
What?
I am friends with plants too. And from there, what I'm going to try is I'm going to do my little speech of Beast and Leaf just to, show her that I can speak to plants and go, you guys look amazing. And I know that some of you are helpful, and I'm hoping that we can find out more about you and figure out how to find you in our world and use you to be able to heal.
Make
Heal
a
everything.
persuasion roll at advantage towards the totals.
Am I supposed to say give guidance? Is that how that works for Chris?
See, you didn't say it, and then
So okay. Toadstools don't do anything in regards to what you say to them. But there's a small gap in the hedges of the plants. Just behind you, where Rosnia's head now is. And she's looking with a very surprised expression. She's not looking at you, Cora, or at you, Forky. She's looking at the toadstools. She seems to be following a conversation.
does it look like the toadstools are speaking back to her and she can understand them?
You would have absolutely no idea if the toadstools were speaking or not.
Okay.
She looks between the both of you and she says, in broken Elvish, strange. Laughstools laugh you.
She said the toadstools love me.
Laughstools laugh you.
Laugh stools laugh me.
Like.
Laugh. Like I love, and I'm just gonna say friend again in Elvish.
She walks through the rows. It's kind of like a melding situation where as she's moving through, none of the leaves are moving at all. It's like they just kind of shimmy through her body without being disturbed at all. And now she's on the same row as you. And she walks up and she starts caressing the toadstools a little. And she starts like tracing her finger over to them. Until she finds one that looks a little older, like a little bit more withered. She caresses it. And she leans down and she says something that you recognize the language as druidic towards it. You don't understand what she says. And you see her shed a tear. She leans down and she kisses this toadstool. And she plucks it. She walks over towards you and she says, Laugh-stool, happy, want you. She holds out this little toadstool towards you.
Cora's, I know you're surprised. Cora's happy crying that this plant likes her enough to tell somebody else that it liked her. And I'm just gonna, like, I don't know this plant that's actually talking. I don't want to hurt it, so I'm just gonna hold my hands out.
She she gestures towards your mouth.
Oh, eat it? Eat? Oh, Cora's very ugh.
She looks at your trepidation, and you can you can tell that just her interaction she had just had with that toadstool, it was a sad thing for her. She tries to explain as best as she can. That's still one end. Happy you.
So I'm very conflicted between making the dryad sad and the toadstool happy. I say, okay, and then I'll eat it very gingerly, kind of chew it, but then feel a little weird and try and swallow the whole thing because I don't want to hurt it.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Eli's caught
Super
She
good
died
at
trying to swallow
these.
a whole mushroom.
You feel elated and you start involuntarily laughing. Astle. Like everything just feels good. However, you're able to control it enough that it doesn't knock you prone, rolling around on the floor with laughter. Like you're just like for like the next 5-ish minutes or so.
Right.
Interesting effect.
I guess that's what it does. I feel great though. Everything seems just a little funny. I don't feel quite so sad. I could still cry, but like happy tears instead of sad tears. And I'm gonna start to awkwardly giggle.
She smiles a little bit, and then she basically just sort of leans down and kind of hugs the toadstools a little.
And I'll say thank you, but through like awkward laughter because I'm trying not to laugh at her because I'm not laughing at her. But thank you.
No, she recognizes this. Apparently, this is a very normal effect that she expected to happen. Like she's not surprised by any of this. She will continue to try and communicate in very broken Elvish unless you guys want to do something about that.
Yeah, I now understanding that tongues goes both ways, and I can understand her, and I don't need Vorkris. Thanks. I will cast it again.
Okay. So she leans up to you, and now, as she says things to you, you now understand her fully. Do you feel better about yourself now?
I do. I feel a little less sad. it's been a weird thing. I didn't think that I was as sad of a person as I was until I got over here and a lot of bad stuff started happening. I used to have a lot of fun, and I used to like to play tricks on people. And you know, then my mom died, and I came over here, and it's just been one thing after another. And it was
She's slowly backing away from you.
really nice.
Wide eyes.
It was really nice to laugh like that. Thank you.
Why were you speaking silly when you can talk very normally?
So I have a little bit of magic, and this only lasts for an hour, and I can only do it so much. And I wanted to, since we could communicate a little bit, save it for the people that I can't communicate at all with.
I genuinely thought that you had been hit in the head. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't think you're
Oh.
the only one that thinks that, but thank you. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
The laughter and happiness stalls really, really like you. Mycroft there was at the end of his life, and he said with his last bit he wanted to spread his happiness with you. I didn't want to pick him, but he wanted it.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if I should eat him or not, but I figured if that's what would make him happy, that I should do it. So thank you for sharing that with me.
When a plant reaches the end of their life, we give them a choice. We can reseed them, or they can serve another purpose. Many choose to be reseeded. Some just grow so old that they want to spread their joy with us. It's a sad thing when that happens.
Well, I think it's a little sad because then they won't be anymore, but to bring happiness to somebody else is a really beautiful thing.
Well, now that Mycroft is gone, someone else will grow in his place. It'll be a new friend, so I am interested to see who he will be.
Yes. I don't know, but if somebody else grows in his place, I feel like the name Sherlock would be a good name. Like they could be brothers or something. And I'm going to start getting...
And that can be there. Holmes. You got the Holmes on the ground.
Thanks for inserting the dad joke.
I prefer the name Moriarty.
Sorry?
I prefer Moriarty, to be honest, but...
That's an interesting choice. I think it fits, though. Good.
I would ask if Cora would be able to translate some things for me, and I'd basically take out the little bit of Fey touched herbs that I've still got for my familiar summoning, and I'd bring Madog down, and I'd just say, I need these herbs for Madog if something happens to him and he gets hurt.
She doesn't pay attention to you. She just extends her hand towards Madog.
I will move over and let him jump over.
Well, they eye lock, and before you even kind of give permission, he like flutters over and just lands on her hand, and she starts scratching the back of his ear, and she starts cuddling him, and he cuddles her back.
Oh, okay. We have another friend that can do this too. His spirit's name is Caliph. I don't know how that works. If you guys know the spirits, you seem to be very familiar with this one.
I have a special affinity amongst my people to be able to speak with the spirits.
That dog is pretty great.
I would ask through Cora.
Mad Dog.
That is what I call him.
That's what his name is.
She says something in a language you don't understand towards Mad Dog, who screeches back. He says his name is McGonagall.
McGonagall?
I will look at Madog. I will say, I'm very sorry. I will call you McGonagall from now on.
He says
Yes.
he doesn't mind what you call him. He likes you.
Well, thank you.
You know, we almost lost him once. There was something that turned him into stone, and then my friend had to burn these herbs that he has to be able to get his spirit back. And the same with my other friend. Do you have any more of these herbs here?
Yes. But I can't give them to you.
I understand.
Could we trade for them? Is there anything that we could do for you?
Oh yeah, because Papyrus said that what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. So maybe we have something.
You come from outside the dome, right?
Yes.
Yes. Are there other Hallen trees out there?
Yes. They've met one that looks like the one here. I've only met one that was corrupted, and I'll pull out the piece of corrupted Holland tree. I showed this to Papyrus, and she put her hand over it, but it didn't do anything. She said that maybe you or
You should burn that before it spreads.
okay. And then I will.
That's
Is it okay
very...
to burn it here?
Yes, it is fine. But that sort of thing is rot and will spread. You shouldn't keep it on your person.
So if we come across other trees like this, we should burn them?
As much as it pains me to say so, but Sylvestris knows more about this sort of thing than I. But there is a presence in the world, and unless that presence goes, that sickness will never abate.
So the only way to fix this is to get rid of that presence.
Yes. But the Guardian says even Ata couldn't do that. You could just send him to sleep, and it made everything better.
So maybe if we put him to sleep again. I'm going to put the piece of corrupted Hallen tree on the ground and call forth my sacred flame to burn it.
And it does burn away into ash. If you would go out into the world and find these other Hallen trees, if you could find out what their names are and tell me, I will be able to connect with them from where I am. Every name that you gather to me, I will give you the herbs you need to turn into what you need it to happen.
Thank you very much. That is very generous.
Then I will.
So, in terms of gameplay mechanics, this particular side quest, every Hallen tree name that you give to her, she will give you the herbs you need to brew a potion of your choice.
Cool. I don't think we got the name of the first one, did we? I don't think we really understood trees had names when we met that. So yeah. Okay, look.
How do you get an? Do you just ask the tree what its name is?
Some trees are forthcoming with their names, others a little more guarded. Some might feel a little sick, but if they haven't been fully changed, if you get their name to me in time, I could be able to stave off their sickness.
You know, we met a friend who lives inside of a Hallen tree. He's a centaur. Do you know what that is? His name is Hruki, so I don't know if you...
Oh, but Artemisia would know more. She's better with creatures like that. I like the spirits and the plants.
He lives inside
Um,
a tree. I didn't think it was a Hallan tree.
It was a hollowed out Hallan tree.
Oh, okay. I apologise.
So then I'll pull out that same flower that I pulled out before. It was an unknown plant with a white bud and a blue stem. Papyrus
She
said
takes
that
it.
you might be able to identify this.
She looks at it. And then I just get my notes out. Ah, this is the sight clear flower.
Sight clear flower. What
Find
does it do?
yourself, if you find yourself unable to see, if you apply this to your eyes, it will stave off any impairment that you have.
Oh, do you have to grind it into a paste or get the juice?
No, this the simple presence of it. You just quite literally just rub it over your eyes. It would crush the flower, so unfortunately it would be its demise. But it's very quick acting. Effectively, this particular flower that you have, the sight clear flower, you can apply it as effectively a bonus action to cure the blinded status on you.
Okay. Then I will also pull out the yellow jacket toadstools. Do you know what these? Do you know what these do?
Oh, they're the honey bombs.
Honey?
Yes, the honey bombs. They have multiple uses. One of them, you could ground them out and they can make a rather sweet flavour for foods. Other times, if you heat them up to a certain temperature and throw them, they explode somewhat, releasing their honey in an immediate area. It will give off a very strong pheromone that will attract all the immediate insects in the vicinity. In terms of gameplay mechanics, a honey bomb, if you effectively heated it up and threw it at an enemy, they would then be attacked by a swarm of bees.
That sounds hilarious.
And
Not the
then
bees!
I have one more thing that I want to ask her. I'm going to pull out the two more. I have the very old potion that we found in the hideout that we were unable to identify, and I have the from Drusilla, and then the double batch of potion that we got from Haruki. We don't know what either one of those do. So, do you recognize either one of these?
Hold up. Planning room. So there's only one potion that you didn't determine what it was. Is that right?
From the hideout, yes, and then Haruki gave us a double portion of some sort of potion, but we don't know what it does. So we've
Right.
got the unidentified one.
So what was the other two potions that you were able to determine what was there out of the three that was in the hideout?
It was a potion of giant strength, I believe. Hold on one second, and I'll pull it up.
Yeah, we used
Nope.
that. We used that on Bark, didn't we?
Yep, and
No,
then
you got
diminution.
you got the giant strength from somewhere else. I guarantee you that
Okay.
because that wasn't.
Oh, that might have been from the hideout.
The diminution. Yep, that would have been from the hideout.
All right, so one of them is a potion of diminution. He's able to discern they are centuries old, possibly thousands of years old. One is greater healing. No, all
Yeah,
the
so there was
except one to make. He then
there
tries
was
to
a
find out
potion of healing. There was a potion of greater healing. There's a
Yeah.
potion of diminution, and there were 2 other very old potions as
Yeah.
well.
Did I try identifying them?
It was more of an alchemist check to try and determine what they were.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Well, since I assume you don't know what either of them are, and since you haven't been using them, I would assume you would then pull out both of them.
Yep.
So when she looks at them, she is going to do a nature check of her own to try and determine what they are, because they're not particularly her realm of expertise. Okay. She'll be able to let you know that one of them is a potion of heroism. The other one that's more of an alchemical concoction and not a nature-based concoction.
And then the one from Haruki, does she recognize that one?
Alright, let me go to fucking Haruki's. They should send me all over my maps, aren't you?
Sorry.
God
Just
damn
to
it.
spite you.
Gosh darn it. So here. Oh yeah, it's a potion of it's a potion of hair loss cure.
Well, that would have been useful for you.
No. Good to know.
But he gave that to you because he thought what you had was like an illness. He was afraid it was going to happen again because he could see you were upset about it. So he was like, well, if it happens again, like take this sort of thing.
Oh, you're so sweet to think of me like that. And I'll put it back in the bag of holding.
So it's kind of a joke potion, to be honest. So.
Rosnia, I realized that I did not actually tell you my name. My name is Cora Brierly Rosewind Terraville Sparklefoot, and I really, really appreciate you talking to me and helping me, us, figure out all of this, telling us Mad Dog's real name is McGonagall, letting me partake in Mycroft. This has been really lovely.
Yeah, okay. She like looks at her feet.
Oh, she's awkward panda too. That's Vorkris, is there anything else you wanted to ask her about?
I'm happy. I just wanted to look round the wonderful herbs. They are amazing.
She does, in the whole process of you conversing, she does take you to an area where the herbs for your summoning would be, and you find a lot. If you had to put like a price on them, there'll be about 7,000 gold pieces worth of herbs here. Purely for your Find Familiar summoning.
The real Vorkris, like Vorkris would absolutely steal from these people.
Cora's
But
watching
he
you.
also, yeah, it was not even that. He also believes that they'd know that the herbs would literally tell Rosnia if I tried that, is what I believe. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But that's why I haven't done it.
Well, Volkris watched Rosnia converse with toadstools. Considering this whole place is... Volkris is definitely intelligent enough to know that the dryads and the plants can talk to each other. And if you pick one, you're literally... They might consider it murder.
I don't know how to gag a herb.
I assume with a lot of clean pill.
Is there a place you know, where these kinds of things grow outside of the dome?
She has no idea. They don't go outside the dome. As far as like before you guys came along, as far as they were aware, everything beyond the realm, outside the dome, was like dead. Like they didn't think it existed anymore. Like the dome is all they've ever known. The dome is all they've ever wanted to know.
Can we find Sylvanas and the other person that you mentioned, something with an A?
Artemisia.
Yes.
Artemisia. She tends to be in the communions, tending to the animals there. Sylvestris. She spends her time between the Guardian and Clarity Waters.
Okay, that was one of the places I wanted to go anyway. Thank you again.
Yeah, okay. And with that, Cora and Vorkris, you leave the Herbal Foundations. Where would you guys like to move on to the next place?
Probably the communions, if that's where Artemisia is going to be, and I'm assuming it's. Well, we didn't have any breakfast, to be fair, so even if it's not lunchtime,
Yeah.
it's food time.
Yeah, it's food time. What time is it? It's fucking food time!
If it's after 9 a.m., it's always food time.
Lismer.
Alright. So, I would say you guys meet up in the communions roughly around the same time. Getting across there, they have fashioned a number of long table-like things from dead trees, like trees that have long since withered. They have been able to carve and create communal-like long tables. They have grown very specific toadstools as seating arrangements, quite bouncy and spongy. Very interesting to sit on. No backrest or anything like that. The tables are filled to the brim with all manners of dried nuts, specific kinds of vegetables that are literally grown to be eaten, not to live, shall we say. Like, a cabbage would be one of them. Like, cabbages don't tend to be alive. They're literally grown as food. Whereas plants, herbs and such, they are actually alive. In their eyes, basically. This is where most of the dryads are, that you've seen at least. They eat communally, they socialize communally, and as you guys approach the immediate area, they all immediately go hush. Many of them just mid-eating, just run away from their tables and just rush off towards the nearby trees and just hide in them. Some of the more braver ones
stay around here too long.
Some of the more braver ones stare at you without running away. One of them, whom you recognize, is smiling in your general direction. She currently has a number of birds, rabbits, and squirrels crawling all over her body. You recognize her as Artemisia.
I will wave.
That's what I was going to say. Joe Briggs should
She
wave.
She waves back, in a sort of sense of like they don't have a waving function here, so she's just copying you without realizing what it means.
It's still the best response I've had so far. I'll take it.
I'll look at whoever waved. Joe Brooks, did you wave also? All right, so I'll look at the Wizard Bros and say, I think I should still be able to talk to them. It didn't take that long to get over here.
No, only about half an hour.
Do you want me to call them over so we'll call her over so we can talk?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go over some of the other things.
Excuse me, Artemisia? I don't mean to bother you, but both Papyrus and Rosnia suggested that maybe we could talk to you, if that's okay. If I hope it's okay.
Do you mind if my friends join me?
I would love it
my
if your friends
friends
joined you.
Okay, guys, off we go. And she stands up, and from inside her actual body, which is kind of almost like wooden-like in nature, she's a different kind of dryad. All these little critters start pouring out, and they start scattering over to you. So, I mean, Elizabeth, from your perspective, you sit down ready to eat, and all you see is nuts and leaves and the like. And like, oh well, I suppose it's something. As you go to eat it, suddenly all these squirrels and rabbits and little birds, like little canaries and robins, start hammering over the table, and they start feasting themselves on everything.
This one will be like, are they feeding the dinner? Or what's going on right now?
A squirrel for breakfast.
No,
You
that's
absolutely
they're for
cannot eat
keeping, not
squirrel.
eating.
I did not say that out loud.
I did.
Well, she doesn't understand you because she doesn't speak common.
And I definitely don't translate that for you.
You want a tasty
Said you have
magic.
beautiful hair.
So Artemisia comes and sits down next to you. The rest of you, it's odd having about 6 or so squirrels climbing up your arms, rest on your shoulders, and on top of your heads. But
Thor is
this is
so
apparently
excited.
this is apparently just what the critters do here, and nobody's ever rejected them, so therefore the critters just don't know not to do that.
I think Joe Pricks would probably gather up some of the nuts and actually feed them. And, I
they
think he
take
would
it.
be all right with that.
Lisbon would probably think about gathering up some of the critters, and then remember about Cora telling him off about wanting to eat the bird, and decide against it. And instead, he'll try to, I guess, handle some of the critters.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I wouldn't say they're trained. It's just that they are very much used to being held, so they don't resist or anything like that. So you have a cute little squirrel in your hands who looks up to you. Both cheeks widened because he's got like about 6 nuts in each cheeks. He's got his little beady black eyes staring up at you, almost begging for more.
Lisbon would look down and be like, "Yeah, I know the feeling bad."
Zurich, how do you respond to all of these little critters crawling all over you?
Not phased in the slightest.
Yeah. Just a thing.
Yes.
so Zurich is sitting there very stoic-faced as a little chipmunk just kind of like spins around on his head and just sort of lays down and goes to sleep on top of his head. So Artemisia sits down beside you guys. She's very open and if somewhat boisterous in her body language. Like she sits with her legs apart, her like hunched forward a little bit, or like almost as she's like kind of raring to go a little bit. She matches the excitability of her little critters. So, I gotta say, you guys look really, really weird.
Thank you.
We all look very different, and I think that's pretty great. We don't normally see people that look like you either. You're beautiful.
Thank you, but I am currently waiting my child to be born, so it wouldn't be fair to my partner.
Oh no, that's not what I mean. You just don't accept beauty for what it is?
I don't understand the meaning of
Beauty?
No, beauty is love. Love is everything. But beauty is a word that we would use, well, for courtship.
Oh. What would you say if something looked pleasant?
Whole.
Well, you look whole.
Thank you. You look whole too.
Thank you.
And that guy looks like a black hole. He's pointing towards Orcus. She's pointing towards Orcus.
Yeah, fair. That could be a black hole.
And these guys, they don't have any leads on them whatsoever. And he's pointing towards the 3 humans. Which she's pointing. That's so weird.
I think it's a little weird too, honestly. And I'm gonna like rub my fur a little bit. We have some questions about the Holland tree and what happens to it when it gets sick. I had a piece. Rosnia told me to burn it, though. I guess there's a presence in the world right now that is making these trees sick. So she said to burn it when that happens.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. There's certainly a corrupting influence. It sends some of the animals a little crazy sometimes, from what I can gather. But I thought you would have known more about that.
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you're a Firbolg.
Well, so I've never actually met another Firbolg before. And I will take out my necklace and say, this is the only thing I have from when I guess, was born or when I was young. My entire village was burnt down, and I was adopted by a gnome. Do you know what gnomes are?
Nope.
Sometimes they have fey friends like the Eladrin, and they are very playful back and forth, but they're very small creatures. And she took me in and she raised me and she taught me how to heal people. And I did watch her and learn about nature and animals from her, but I don't have maybe all of the characteristics I'm supposed to have as a Firbolg.
Oh. Okay. Well, the Guardian told me that there's loads of Firbolgs.
Where?
A place I've never been to. He says there's somewhere around here.
Like in the dome?
No, not in the dome. Out there.
Oh. There are more like me?
Yeah, well, the Guardian knows more. I was interested because over near the realm steps, there's a little circle that was built by you people.
Cora's like just a lot speechless at this moment, because this is more information than she's had about her kind.
So the rest of you get incredibly impatient as you wait for Cora to translate for you.
Sorry, guys.
What?
She just has. They've seen Firbolgs before, and over by the face steps, I guess one of the portals was built by people like me, and the Guardian knows where there are more, and yeah, that's a lot. I didn't think that there were any more like me. I know that Bark's grandma is like me, but aside from the two of us, I didn't think that there were any more. Sorry. If you have any other questions, just tell me, because I can't really think right now.
It's great news.
That is great news. Really good. Hopefully we'll be able to find them and you can meet them.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. Something else.
I'll bring up something else. Seeing Jorpix bring out Kaleth, I'll say, Jorpix, so I just got told that apparently Madog's name is not Madog. They're able to speak to our familiars and they'll know their true name. So Madog is actually called McGonagall, but he said he doesn't mind me calling him Madog. I'm sure they would happily speak to Kaleth and find out Kaleth's true name.
McGonagall.
Isn't that great? Kaleth, never been able to fully communicate with you. Cora, can you ask them if they can find out what Kayla's real name is?
Yeah. So is Kayla out?
Yeah,
Oh.
I've got her just there. I figured she could play with the squirrels and the.
Okay.
Yeah, she's been playing with us. She's in owl form at the moment, right?
Right. She won't eat.
They have not actually seen much owls, so like Artemisia is certainly interested in Caliph.
Cool.
I know that Rosnia was able to communicate with this spirit named McGonagall. Are you able to communicate and find out what her real name is?
Well, if she was a real beast, yeah. But spirits is more Rosnia's area of expertise. She's got a real gift with talking with them.
I'll have to talk to Rosnia later.
But I do have a question for you guys. Especially that one. And she points towards Vorkris and she says, so, those are scales, right? I've not seen scales before.
Yeah, these are scales, and they're quite hard, even for my people. They offer me some protection. It's good.
I heard the scaled ones were big.
Yes, they're a distant cousin to us. They're giant and they're dragons. We are what known as dragonborn, which is like a humanoid-sized dragon. But the real dragons, they are huge and amazing.
As far as you're concerned, Vorkris, the dragons died out a long time ago.
Huge, amazing, and they've all died out years ago.
Yeah, like they've been extinct for a long time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, she looks at you and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were from the Craglands."
Craglands?
Yeah. The Draconic Craglands.
So there's like real dragons here? Like me, but bigger?
Well, that's what the Guardian says.
I'm just like now
That's
mimicking
that's
Cora's,
why- that's-
like, amazement. It's like, ooh, dragons.
Well, that's why you were a little weird to us, because we thought the scaled ones were a lot bigger.
Where I come from, the true dragons have unfortunately died out. I've never seen one. There are only stories of them.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
I agree.
Well, I mean, that's all. I'm only going off what the Guardian has told us, so.
Can we speak to the Guardian again? We can try and find out some more information on these Craglands and this place where Cora's people may be.
Yeah. Well, tell you what. If you guys are going to go beyond the dome, how about we do something in the name of friendship with each other?
That sounds lovely. We're here to make as many friends as we can.
There are lots and lots of animals out there that I've never met, but I've always wanted to. If you could, if you could tell me stories about an animal, if you meet a creature that you don't understand, and you tell me about them, I could apply a little bit of my knowledge and tell you something about them that you don't know. A trade of information.
I think at this point we'd go and get the book out of all the animals that we've seen. And...
Slam it down on the table.
Out of the bag of holding. Oh, look! I have here.
All right. Well then, if you guys want to do it that way, pick an animal.
Pick an animal.
The plains runner things.
Oh, they look very nice. Oh, would you look at that? That's a very good picture. And they've got those things. Oh, I see here you've written down they have a little old spot on the back of their head. That looks like a sensitive spot. Ah, yeah. I bet if you were able to touch that, you'd be able to domesticate it very quickly.
Oh, wow, that's good to know.
It's like a soft
One.
spot for them. If you give it a good scratch, it will calm them down.
What about this one? And I'm going to point to the large owl without a beak that ate the light.
Oh, they're interesting ones. They look a little fey-touched, to be honest. They certainly look like they could. So, effectively, she explains that this type of creature could be effectively used as miniature light eaters. So, if they. She doesn't explain this to you in a way that, you would think about this, but because you guys do not think like them, this is where your minds would naturally go, except yours, Cora. But if you could harness the eyes of said creature, they could effectively be used as miniature darkness grenades. So if applied a little bit of magic and alchemical knowledge to them, if they were utilized, those owl eyes can effectively create an area of darkness as they eat all the light in about a 5 to 10 foot radius. Whereas a regular darkness spell would be a little bit bigger and last a bit longer, these ones would be quick action light eaters.
Wow.
But she explains that's something they could do from her understanding of how creatures work. That is what you guys would think in terms of practicality.
At me. What about
And
this one?
in terms of the Plains Runner, what she explained to you, that's basically if you were to apply that, the DC, the animal handling check would be non-existent to control the Plains Runner if you're aware of the sweet spot.
Okay.
Sweet.
What about we saw this one. It was a big red bird with a long tail and a hypnotic pattern on its wings. That one was very magical.
That one was a phoenix.
That a commonly, like, would we all know what a phoenix was?
Yeah, that's an extinct bird in the old world.
Know of them, just like the dragons.
Yeah.
Okay, and we saw these things. They were hanging. Somebody had killed them, but it looked like a pig and a goat had a baby. It was called a pote. They were hanging up in the hideout.
Oh yeah, that. She would basically explain them as they're just literally just wild beasts that would eat up insects and minerals. Could give off a rather smelly smell by the looks of it. For yourselves, they would effectively be, if domesticated, they could quite literally just become pigs, effectively slaughtered for meat. They're effectively they are effectively a source of food.
I'm going to take a
I think the
chance.
other one we saw.
I was going to say, I'm going to take a chance and point to the abandoned.
She does not recognize those creatures, and she doesn't like the look of them.
They weren't very nice.
Actually, no, to be fair, I think most of the dryads... Yeah, so she wouldn't recognize them by sight, but she would certainly recognize them by reputation. In that what the Guardian has spoken of them, she recognizes them as the Abandoned. They are the people that followed Zarius, the god of opposites, and they became dried up little husks of themselves, twisted and formed into shells of themselves, forever existing in foul necromantic energy when Zarius abandoned them basically to go to sleep.
So the fact that they are rising again is not a good thing. She recognized the wonder of nightmares?
No, and she really doesn't like the look of that. That's all. No, that's awful.
I think some of these things are maybe coming out because this Zarius guy is waking up.
Is there any other animals that you'd like to know the answers to?
I don't think we've seen any others, have we?
The only one I could think of is
You
that
didn't
I
recognise?
wasn't there, was I, with the metal ball?
Oh, crap, yeah.
Yeah, and then the,
Yeah.
the apex predator that you guys met before I came too.
Yeah, we probably won't mention that we found something and killed it. That probably won't be the best
Slayed
thing. But the big metal bull we would try and describe, but it's not
Right,
natural,
well-
so I'm guessing they might not know.
The apex predator, she will be able to tell you that that is the sort of creature that will exist in a hot climate, very arid. That would be its natural source of territory.
And
The
that doesn't
Gorgon,
describe where we found it, does it?
No.
Interesting.
The Gorgon, the metal bull, if she looks at it with a confused look, she says, That might be a hunter.
It
Maybe.
emits like a poison gas. That's what hurt my poor Madog here. It turned him into stone.
I don't really know much about that. The Guardian might know. I've heard stories of creatures that were designed to hunt down the abandoned, old stories. I think that might be one of them.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
So yeah, effectively, not a real side quest, but if you guys find a creature and you don't know what to do with it, if you want to learn what possible properties it could have, speak to Artemisia about it, and she'll ignorantly and blindly give you the information you seek.
So
Like,
if
she's-
we were to find that, how would we, once we leave here, how would we talk to you again? Rosnia
don't
said
know.
the same.
I don't know. I assumed the same way that you came in last time.
Our
But
friend
that was our
M1 helped us with
friend.
that.
And he's not going to be with us anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
So, Laura, I found this teleportation circle. We
A
went
what
to the
circle?
realms. Teleportation. I'd be saying this to Cora. I don't know if she
Okay.
would translate it or not. Maybe a pathway in.
Wait, hold on. Hold that thought. I needed to ask you about a centaur. Do you know what a centaur is?
Yeah.
I have a friend. I think he's a friend. He gave me soup, and helped grow my hair back. His name was Fruki, and he lives inside of a holland tree. Do you know him?
Huh?
No. Are there many centaurs?
I think they, as far as I know, they live for the Theobalds.
They live for... Oh, okay.
I heard they were nomads. Back when Beyond the Dome existed.
I mean, it still does. That's where we came from.
Yeah. So, sorry, that's still processing that new information.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Didn't even know there was a world out there. I thought this was the world.
When's the last time you saw, well, I guess you've never seen outside of here?
No? No?
When's the
Went to the
last
Fey
time?
realm.
Oh. How do you get to the Fey realm from here? Through
She
those
disappears on the
circles?
spot.
Oh.
About a minute later, she reappears. Like that. Why can't you do that? Thought everyone could
No.
do that.
Can you teach me?
Oh. Can you do this with your arm? And her arm disperses into leaves.
No.
Then I don't think so. And her arm rematerializes.
Maybe I can learn.
So, you guys finish your breakfast, as unfulfilling as it is. Artemisia continues to play with her little critters. And continues to go over the book that you have. She just likes to examine every aspect of it. Like, this is a brand new world to her. She's very curious about that. Eventually, you guys have your fill, shall we say. As best as it can be. Like, Cora, this is a fantastic meal for you. Like, love it. You love the meal. It's a 5-star hotel restaurant for you.
Happy food dance.
Everybody else, nuts, leaves.
Kicking at it, going, oh.
So,
Worst meal ever.
what would you guys like to do from here?
We've got to go and find the Guardian. He seems to be the next question answerer.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. We go see the Mad Walnut and see if he can give us any more answers.
They say the Guardian was by the Clarity Waters.
No, the Guardian is Mad Walnut, who literally lives in the Hallan Tree. So,
Well, I'd like to go see the Guardian, see if he can tell me any more about wherever this spark is.
I'd like to ask about the teleportation circle when we get there too.
okay.
I definitely still want to go to the Clarity Waters, but I'm sure I'm the only one. So if we want to go to the Guardian first, I guess I can go back after.
All right. So, the party makes their way back over to the center of the dome, with the old buildings around you, making your way up towards the Hallan Tree. You got those large steps that you did previously. The Dryads continue to look at you with wonder and mystery, like, what the hell are these guys? You know. And now you come before the gargantuan Hallan Tree. And just in front of it, you see the Guardian, Mad Walnut, who's currently he seems to be speaking in a language you could not possibly understand, because it's almost inaudible, to a very small little blue bird on his finger.
I'll do my customary wave.
He sees you, looks back towards the bird, and then just gently raises his hand as it flutters off. He gets off of the stump that he was sitting on and begins waving at you and walking towards you. Standing over you by at least 10-15 feet. To Cora, who's the tallest member. He's a big boy.
I'm sorry, I hope I didn't scare off your bird friend.
My friend the bird is strong and brave. However, he's flown away to get the worms he craves.
We were hoping to have a talk with you.
Talk, an activity of fun and merriment. Speak your mind, but beware the detriment.
So I encountered in the realms, encountered in the realms, a circle, stones, look to be a teleportation circle.
Is that
if
what
I
it
learn,
is? How surprising. But then again, much things I do not find in.
this is something that is not your creation.
My creation is the dome itself. Whatever was here before is an invention of oneself.
Might we make use of the teleportation circle if we ever have to seek respite or sanctuary, and I learn the magic in order to get back here? Would we be welcome?
For many thousands of years, the sanctuary has been walled by the dangers from within and far and abroad. Calamity so great had befell the land. The spirits became trapped here, away from the death and the sand. Growing and changing as time went on, I was but a sprig at the time. For long. I was aware and conscious of all that was wrought. And so I found a friend, and an idea he brought. Build a place, a safe haven, a sanctuary. Never did I find such a mind in Terry. However, as time comes to sage, my friend died of old age. His body was planted into the ground to be free, and he is grown into what you now call the Holland tree. Mad Walnut is me who became tended to it. I helped it grow. Lost it.
That's a tough one.
Grow, grow, and
You
grow.
did very well.
Sorry. Mad Walnut, who is me, tended to it. I helped it grow into what it intended. The Holland doesn't remember his prior life, only that he is connected to nothing of the strife. The being so pure, so fine, of us, utter, the one of purity within us. If you were to go beyond the dome, you could only come back if you could call this place home. The circle on the ground was here from before. Whether it even works is something I dare not at all. Built it was by the civilization so bold of the Highlands of the Centaurs and the Thebolgs.
See.
Do you know whereabouts the Theobalds live?
Cora's gonna look at you and smile because she couldn't get any words out, and she definitely wanted to ask that question.
I figured.
To find what you seek and the knowledge that you gain beyond the Ashspire Mountains, through the wind and the rain.
So if it's nice weather, we can't go. So we'll wait for a shitty day and we'll cross the mountains.
I'm gonna get out the map and see if the Aspire Mountains are on there.
They're not, no. Far to the west, where the sun rises, you'll find some communities and maybe a few surprises.
We were told there was a barrier to the west that no one has been able to cross. No one from the old world, from our home, has been able to cross.
Cora's looking at Bark because she thought that the sun rose on the east, and she's very confused right now. Can't get past it.
Does it? That might just be a Jack mistake there, to be honest.
I thought it was just the world.
I mean,
Jack goes, in this
we landed at
world.
the east of the island. Yeah, we landed on the east side, so the barrier must be on the west side.
Yeah.
Side.
So, excuse me, I am trying to think of how this would rhyme. The line that you speak of is known as Utter's Hand, and none will pass it, whether they be spick or span. A key is required to unlock beyond the borders of the sections of the Paramount.
Cora silently whipped out the wheel.
Young and enthusiastic, that will makes you. But it
And
will not
hungry.
send you to the destination of two.
So this isn't the right key.
The key is only known to a select few. Luckily, your search for that will be short and a stew.
Who holds the key to this wheel?
The key is nothing physical, or anything you can hold. It is but a mind and a passphrase, and a desire to go beyond.
Oh, do you know what the password is?
Keep on walking until the trees meet the water. When you feel like you cannot go beyond, just think further. Think in your mind and your heart and your soul of what lies beyond to make you whole. You will get wet and you'll get soggy. Beware of the spillage. But you will get beyond, and soon you will find the lonely village.
are?
Could you also tell us what you know of the crag? I've heard there were living dragons.
Artemisia has shared what she's known through word of mouth. But your people you will find are far to the south.
Thank you.
So the dragons are south, and the furbolgs are west.
And,
Okay.
to
lots
understand
of
the
places to
wheel, you have to.
I'd
go
have
the
to say
place-
yes, that is what's best.
Have to go to the place where the trees meet the water. Could be
Go
the
to the
river. That could
place
be
where
the.
the trees meet the water. Then just think to yourself that you'd want to go further.
Probably
You'll think that you
river.
you'll
Right?
think that you can't, that you mustn't go beyond. This is just a trick, an illusion. You must not abscond.
I think he's referring to the barrier.
Yeah, we just have to really, really want it.
You gotta really want it. Yep.
Or like maybe it's something psychic. Maybe you just think that the barrier's not there and you can pass.
Nothing so simple or so daring. Just be sure of oneself. To be neither seated nor staring. Beware of the water and getting a little spillage. You will find your answers in the lonely village.
I'll say thank you. To the south of here, there was a giant bull we did fight. Is there a way you know that we can overcome his might?
You can have his. Well, Chris, you can have inspiration.
That's
Well
awesome.
done.
I'm gonna say Cora high-fives you.
Nice.
Mad Warlock chuckles and goes, "A clever little hortle. You certainly gave me a chortle." The being you speak of was built by people of old. As a hunter of the demented, the abandoned, the sold. There is one to an area spread far around. And if one is nearby, you must not make a sound. The abandoned is its prey, but you won't want to stay. The cause of the corruption is the source of its determination. The more people that come, the opposite awakens. But if there are less people around, its power is taken.
I mean, Sparhawk might still be alive. He stood his ground on his own to try and give us time to get away. And then there was less of us around.
Sorry, who's that again?
Previous player. The guy you replaced.
But yeah, Sparhawk before you.
He was a brave man, and he had a wonderful horse and some helpers, and one of them had a very
Slaves.
beautiful voice.
And let me guess, he had magic as well.
He didn't. Actually, no, he had.
He
He was a
Yeah, he
paladin.
was a paladin, so yes.
He loved his god, and he got power through his god.
Mad Warnock will say, a last-ditch effort to fight the corruption. Everything they had was poured towards their destruction. Created by a man long forgotten of Tormund, they call those mechanical balls the Gorgons. But each one has a specific weakness. Just in case their masters lost their Lost it. Fuck. Fucking, this guy is so hard to roleplay.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Each one has a specific weakness. The masters could exploit should they lose their meekness.
Get out the book again and say, this one seemed to be immune to everything we tried. It did not fall to force damage. It didn't fall to any of your spells. It clearly had something magical. But how do you figure out
All of your efforts seem to have fallen flatted. But did you ever think of trying acid?
Yes. Sure, I used my breath weapon on it because that was the only acid we had.
No, you didn't use your breath weapon on it.
Acid.
I may have had a discussion with myself that if it worked, that was the only time I could have done it. So therefore,
no, you were thinking of doing it because I know you also had acid. You also have acid splash as well. So I guarantee you did not use acid splash against that Gorgon.
Oh, okay.
Or I guarantee you didn't apply any acid damage against that particular Gorgon.
Yes, acid arrow that I haven't had prepared for a long while, and my breath weapon that would have been I could only have done it once. So, okay.
This particular one was told to guard, and it stood. The whole area that you have come to call the Wonderwood. Go beyond the line, and you will find more. Their specific weaknesses are something you must adore.
Thank you, Mad Walnut. Your help.
We're all going to be a little bit of a puzzle.
A quick assertion. I like to think it is a sudden domination.
A sudden domination. So does that mean that if we find a weakness, it takes them out immediately?
One way to find out.
supposed to find out more about the shepherd too, right?
I also want to know about
Oh,
this.
so in regards to what you say, Lesnar, he says, there is certainly no shame in trying, but don't come blaming me if you start crying.
Nice. Okay, and then in response to that, what about this? And I'll try and get that sparkly hand going again.
I see you are one who is trying to learn the arcane. Practice and patience will win you your day. Inside is a spark, so flittering and flout. But just like your style, stand firm and stout.
What do you know about the shepherd?
The shepherd we have discussed at length. Do you want me to do you wish for me to talk about the reek of his stench?
Yeah, I think we did. We talked about him last time.
This is
Yeah,
me
that was
as a
the last
DM.
session.
This is me as a DM saying I've already spoken about him. Please don't make me rhyme about him again.
Yeah.
He's not making up for the stuff we already know.
There was any other. All right.
Well, guys, I think we need a plan. Where do we go from here?
think
Well, I thought we were going
I think
to
it's,
go back and deal with that ghost. Or that spirit, or
That
whatever.
was. I think that
I
was
mean,
the short term.
it seems to be fairly harmless to everyone but Barenbark. At least Barenbark can warn people now. I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't really want to just rampage around this land, killing everything that disagrees with us.
But there's
The
gonna have to
shepherd
be-
is only attracted to what it seeks. The individual you mentioned, not so strong but meek. You get her to reveal yourself, and your quarry will come. If you don't want her to go with her, be ready to stand your ground.
So if we can get her to come out, the shepherd will come, and we can fight the shepherd then. The shepherd seems much more, fightable. Morally, if not practically. I have no idea how to kill it.
Do you know how we could get the ghost to reveal itself?
I think he said last time, Mad Walnut said we just cast a dispel magic or remove invisibility to
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I don't know about leaving that ghost though. That's the only thing. There's got to be a price for it being there.
Well, if we don't know what happens if once it's revealed, but I think if we deal with the shepherd first, then we can bargain with it.
We have to make a pier for the shepherd to come near.
So
Right.
maybe we can bargain with it. Like, say, we'll get rid of the shepherd if you stop killing people. Like, you can protect Barenbark, but you don't necessarily have to kill everyone that comes.
Oh, we tried that last time and it was a nightmare to get her to speak.
Yeah, she's not very friendly. We're just like,
No,
get out, go away.
We don't have fairy fire
The
now.
pl- The place where she rests, where she was killed, she can go no farther. She was once a being of nobility, that Imnara.
Well, we can
Because-
head back there, or we can go exploring some more.
Give her
Well-
one last shot there. Trying to get her to either to come to reveal herself, or we can try and force her to reveal herself, deal with the shepherd, and then she probably can be reasoned with. I would
Well,
think.
if we tell her, like, you can either reveal yourself willingly, ready to fight with us, or we force it out of you and we fight the shepherd ourselves.
But how do we know she's a good type of spirit?
And how exactly do you plan on
I'm-
forcing her to reveal herself?
I'm going to point at the massive gash in my shoulder and be like, I don't think she is a good spirit.
No, I was also not a fan.
Yeah.
Does anyone have dispel magic?
Good and evil is simply a concept. What Imnara sees is beyond her step.
Okay. So she can't pass on because she can't reveal herself to move on.
So yeah, we might be able to talk her into coming out if we think we can give her some sort of freedom from it.
I think, just as a DM, I'd like to say, like, what Bad Walnut meant by saying that is that good and evil certainly is an abstract concept. What is good for you might be bad for somebody else. He believes that Imnara is of a specific disposition, and it will be very hard for her to take the step in the other disposition. He believes her to be a bad spirit.
So she can't. say
However, he has also expressed surprise at the idea that she is protecting somebody else, which he assumed was a step she could not take.
It's her redemption arc.
Right. Yeah.
So back there then. I think it probably is about time to leave here. I feel bad that half the people in this area, in this dome, are scared of us and hide from us at the first sight. But they have been very friendly and welcoming.
Well, what if we go along the lines of if she helps us get rid of the shepherd, she can reveal herself to Baron Buck.
I reckon that'll work. Or something similar.
Yeah, something along those lines. Play on the love theme.
The Dryads being scared of you from within this dome, there's nothing you need to be worried about if you come to call this place your home.
What does it take for us to call this place home?
Plant your feet and grow your roots. Grow so old that you won't care about your toots.
Yay, I'm
We
already that
stay
old.
here. We stay here forever then?
I think we need to plant a tree.
You can come and go. You can come and go as you please. Coming back in, that is quite the tease.
We need to learn some more advanced magic before we can make use of that circle.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we plant our feet.
I think it just means stay here.
Yeah, but he said we could come and go as we please.
Getting back in is the tease. So basically what he's saying is these people will become more used to you the more they see you. You're not prisoners. If you want to call this place your home, it's a sanctuary for all.
I think it might be time to leave for now, but we can come back and visit if we ever learn how to use those circles.
So we were just overthinking it. It's a literal, like, you can call this place home if you want, but it's just difficult to get back.
Yeah.
Can you take good care of Emron?
I shall enjoy our talks the Semron has with our walks.
Don't let him be too evil. He's a really messed up guy.
And don't let him do any gambling.
Completion and wholeness this one has found. Within the sanctuary his soul will be sound.
So yeah, I'm game for leaving, but I think we probably try and find Emron and say goodbye before we left.
We've
Go
already
to Clarity
goodbye.
Waters too before we leave.
Yeah.
Well, if you wish to leave now, I bid you adieu. I must go back to making my stew.
I'm sure your stew will be a delicious treat, and I'll look forward to the next time we shall meet.
High five again from Cora.
Amazing.
Goodbye, young ones. On your adventures you must go. Unfortunately for you, old man, your future is low.
Who, me?
I see the omens that you cast around. Do not trust them, for they could be led abound.
Thank you for the words of advice. I'm assuming that means that I won't be able to fully trust my a lot of my divining spells. That this place is probably kind of funny and can kind of cast me astray.
Wait, just inside here or in general?
Your magics will work as planned, but the day will come where you'll be out of your hands. As time goes by, and more will come. The opposite of what you intend will come.
Thank you for the warning, Mad Walnut. I'll take this advice, and this warning to heart. And
I am but a
hopefully,
tree, but they called me mad. I don't think everyone realized that makes me sad.
Well, what would you rather we call you?
Mad Walnut.
Okay. We didn't want what you said.
He's a little mad. Like, he speaks in rhyme. He's, you don't know if that's a tree thing or just he's a bit mad, so... I mean, from Cora's perspective, none of the other trees she's ever interacted with have spoken in rhyme, so... Oh dear. Right, is there anything else you would like to speak to Mad Walnut about?
Not that I can think of.
No, I think we're good. I think we should head to Clarity Water still.
Thank you very much for us walking away from him so I don't have to rhyme anymore.
You did very well.
But I like it.
Well done.
I like his role playing. I like that. I like to do that. I just recognise I'm fucking shit at it.
I don't know. You did it quite
You
well.
did
I
well.
think.
It's just got to be exhausting doing it over and over and over.
Yeah, well, if I had loads of prep, I can make anything rhyme. It's just that on the spot, like you just say the same words over and over again.
Well, there's only so many ways you can rhyme the same word, isn't there?
Yeah, I know. But in any case, so
I think
you
we wanna go
guys,
to the clarifying. Is it called clarifying waters?
clarity waters.
Clarity waters.
So, guys, make your way across the dome, away from the Hullen tree, and towards Clarity Waters. And when you get here, you see dozens and dozens and dozens of these tiny silver-like pools of water. And each one has got a fountain kind of apparition. There's no like actual physical construct inside the fountains, but each one spurts out water in its own way. You can see one that just has the standard like geyser eruption, another one that just sprinkles sava in arch lines, another one that has like a spiraling kind of water aspect, others that one that crisscrosses. Like each one is different in its own way. And you see some of the dryads enter into these pools, and they starfish into it a little bit, like, and they just reach the center of these circular-like pools, and they just stay there. They close their eyes, and that's it really. They just stay there for as long as you see them. You don't see anybody get out of them. Like they're not all full up, but you get the feeling that this is an extended activity for them. They're
face up. It's not like they're face down in the water.
No, they're face up. They're face up doing a starfish. There are a lot of totems in the immediate area that are like planted into the ground and shaped into various forms. And you get the feeling that this is kind of a holy place for them. Accentuated by the fact that you do see their leader here currently tending to one of the empty pools that doesn't have a geyser coming out. It's just a still pool, actually. Like, there's no ripples in the water whatsoever at all. But she's leaning down over it and just staring into the water. What would you guys
We
like
saw
to
this
do?
person. We saw this person earlier.
Yeah, this is
Sylvester.
This is Sylvestrius. She's
Okay.
the she's the friend of Mad Walnut.
These waters are very pole?
She looks at you with a bit of a confused look about her face. Then she turns to the rest of the party and she says, "Learn." She says that in common.
I always try and learn everything I can.
I learn.
You've learnt common?
Learning.
Well done.
Remembering that Rosnia told me that she spoke Elvish, I'm gonna try and speak to her in Elvish and say, "What do you learn? Do you learn from the waters?"
She looks at you, Cora, and then says in common again, "You language. All speak."
Then I'll repeat myself in common and hope she understands. Do you learn from the waters?
Waters are. Knowledge found.
I'll point-
Remind.
I'll point to myself and say, "Can I go in?"
She points towards the pool. Look.
Go over and look.
You see your reflection.
I'm gonna start speaking in Gnomish, and I'm gonna start talking to my god. Say, Dervin, I'm not actually sure what I'm supposed to be looking for, and I'm not even sure if you're one of the people that these beings recognize, but I know that you are nature, and this place is nature. If you're here and you're listening, and there's anything that I'm supposed to learn or do or something, if you could help me. And I'm going to close my eyes as I'm saying all of this. And I'm going to open my eyes and stare harder into the water and see if anything has changed.
Make a religion check. "23. Staring into the waters, there is a small shimmer of light, and your reflection changes. And now, staring up at you, is not your face, but is the face of a gnome you know very well, with that button-like smile, those motherly eyes. You see the gnome who found you. She smiles at you.
This to be another trick. Still in Gnomish. Is that you, Mama?
She gestures towards the little amulet that you have.
The vial with the furbolg.
Yeah.
Okay. And take it out of my necklace or of my shirt.
There's no sign beyond that. Sylvester's does say, hearts.
I'm gonna uncork the bottle and take out the little scroll and open it. Still not understand it, but knowing that furbolgs had been in this area,
Yep.
just gonna hope that something comes to me.
Do you read it out loud? Or do you just read it?
So it's in a language that I don't speak.
Oh, yes.
Mm. Regardless, I probably, even if I did or attempted to read it, I probably wouldn't read it aloud.
No. With that religion check. For the first time in your life, those words make sense to you. You read it, what seems like hours, but in truth, it's only maybe about 10 seconds. You wrap the scroll up, put it back within, place it back inside your clothes. And you turn to face Sylvestris, who's staring at you eye to eye. She just moves forward and hugs you. As what was on that scroll reverberates through your mind. I'll be sending you a letter later. Cora sheepishly steps away from the pool. And she points towards the rest of you. Heart. And she gestures towards the pool.
I think that if you guys have any questions or maybe you're looking for something that you should go over and take a look into the water.
Right. Sylvestris looks into the water. Closes her eyes. Looks at you again, Cora. Smiles. See all. Know much. Corrales. She looks at each of the other party members. Up and down. She stops her gaze upon you, Vorkris. Heart. Fexen. Rich?
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch that?
Sorry, no. I thought that was all for Cora.
No, she has been looking up and down the party, and she stops on you, Vorkris. She gestures towards the pool, and then towards you, and she says, "Heart, Fexen."
I don't really say anything, but I'll look into the water, see if I see anything special. But I'm not discussing Vexen.
You stare into the pool, and you see your own reflection looking back at you. Heart.
Do I need to part ways?
You stare, as you stare, unsure of what to do. Eventually that water shimmers a little, and you see another Dragonborn looking up at you. One you recognize.
I'll splash my hand through the water and stand up, move away.
Pain.
If you know it's pain, why did you show it to me?
Sylvestris walks up to you, and she does try to give you a hug.
I will accept and quick arm and tappy hug and then move back again.
But that's this moment in time, you can see that little goat bunny tail that she has just wiggle very, very.
Indeed, the bro hug.
Time. Save. Hearts. Grow. Friends. Live. Death. No end.
Time heals all wounds. Friends will help you. Friends make it better.
Vexen gone.
Yes, Vexen's gone.
Vorkris gone. New hearts.
I am a new Vorkris. Reborn.
Remind. Time.
Like your eyes are closed.
She she begins looking between Jorprix, Zurich, and Lesma. Heart.
I think Joprick should look in the water.
Okay. So Jorprix, you look inside to the water. You see your own reflection looking back at you. However, your reflection is a little different. Your reflection begins mouthing things to you, almost as if it's trying to speak to you.
I can't hear anything though.
No.
Joprix, I can't hear you.
Voice. In.
Voice in. What does that mean?
Heart.
I think Joprick should probably think back to his past in the old world. The people that he lost a long time ago. Hospital Lucia probably in particular.
And as you think on that, suddenly you now understand the words, the mouthing that your reflection is saying to you. You follow those words as if you were saying them to yourself, but it's different, like a stranger. You step up away from the pool, and Sylvestria is behind you. As you contemplate the words that your reflection has said to you or mouthed to you, she sees you, and she does go in to hug you.
I hug back.
I'll be sending you a message later on.
Okay.
She lets go. She brushes the hair away from your eyes, because you've got relatively long hair, like on the forefront, like shaved at the sides, but like relatively long at the top. She just sort of brushes it away and she smiles. And she looks towards Lismer and Zurich. Heart.
I'll go see. I'll step to the water and have a look.
You don't see your reflection. You see the reflection of animals, creatures, beasts, monsters. Everything you've ever killed. In their last moments, when they stared up at you, you look down upon the death that you have sowed. They stare back at you. Eventually they shift and they change. They become a face that you recognize somewhat. They have very familiar armor, very familiar weaponry. But they're just looking at you with contemptness. They shake their head.
This isn't Karen, is it?
Certainly looks like it.
I'd probably look back up and why am I seeing him?
Heart.
Well, certainly isn't in my heart anymore. Not after what he did.
Always heart.
Probably step up then. I don't want to see any more of him. You probably see him getting
Step
quite
away.
angry as well.
You step away from him, and Sylvestria just grabs you by the shoulders and looks into you. Peace in. She goes to hug you.
I really don't want to, but I feel it's bad manners. Can I just turn my back slightly so it's? I don't really want to.
Yep, no, you can reject the hug if you want.
Yeah, I don't really want to. It's,
Okay, so you push her away. She steps back. Oh, she does look hurt a little.
it's not. I'm
And
sorry.
she says,
It's not something we do.
she looks at you and she says, past, future, truth, heart. She looks sad, but she accepts your decision.
Just sort of awkwardly move back into the group.
She looks towards you, Zurich. Heart. Sorry, not Zurich,
I was
Lisma.
going to say no, not again.
Yeah, I'll step forward.
Stare inside. Looking back at you is a familiar blacksmith. He looks tired from the day. Like he's been sweating and got soot all over his face. He smiles at you.
Well, back.
If you're speaking, mate, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd probably smile back and then back away.
Back away. Sylvestria stands beside you and looks into the pool herself. She says, home. Do you respond?
I'd say home no more.
Gone?
Gone.
She points towards the other party members, then looks at you. Home.
Look back at the rest of my party and then look back and be like, new home.
Sorry, could you repeat that, please? I didn't actually catch that.
So I'd have looked back at the rest of my party and then looked back at her and say, new home.
She smiles. She goes in to hug you.
I will reciprocate.
You see that little tail bubble, like very, very jittery. And she lets go. Pool. Truth. Within. Accept. Reject. Spiritual. Fill. Hearts. Connect. Pain. Sorrow. Truth. All. Return. Lost. Reclaim. With that, she just wipes away a little tear.
We're just standing there trying to figure out if she wanted us to go into the pool to accept what was what we saw, or what. She's still kind of
You get
taken
the
aback.
feeling. You get the feeling that. Well, I'll just explain as a DM. If in the future your characters undergo a specific change that you don't feel you can get back from, you can return to these waters, and who you are from where you have just stared in will be reclaimed to you. You can go back to the way you were. Effectively a hard reset, should you go down a path that you cannot get back from. Which might not seem like a lot of sense now, but as the corruption of the land slowly takes over, you may find that rather invaluable as opposites begin to happen.
So as Cora understands that, still not really sure how much Sylvestris understands of what we're saying. She's gonna try and comment because that's what she is speaking to us. We have a friend with us who used to be a certain way and is not that way anymore. He lost something or sacrificed something, a part of himself. If he were to come to these waters, would it restore his wholeness?
Are you talking about Isaac?
No, I did not even think that that would be a possibility.
Yeah, no, I was just making sure. Yeah.
I was talking about Bark's eye.
As long as he's not talking about Wenos.
Oh God, no!
Mm,
He's not with us.
unfortunately-
He's outside.
No, because if Bark stares into it, that would be his hard reset. He will return to being the person with one eye.
With one eye.
So this is like the checkpoint from now.
Yeah, that's the way to think about it. Yeah.
Okay. So tell him to not look in here if he ever wants to get his eye back, and then look in here again.
Yeah.
Effectively saved the game. Saved it right here.
That's a way to think about it, but it won't work like that sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's a way. It's a way to reclaim what you have lost without losing any progress. If that's a way to describe it.
Okie doke.
Interesting.
But after that, you gather your things. You grab Kerry out of the growth pod. Who's had a nice little nap, and you make your way to the border of the dome. Emron has escorted you. He wishes you all a very, very fond farewell, but he's not very good at goodbyes, and he's already said his goodbyes, and he doesn't want to drag it all out. He wants you to go out into the world and just cause as much mayhem as possible. He pumps some of his druidic magic into the dome, and the thorns open up. And you guys are able to walk through onto the other side. You turn around to see Emron on the other side of the 20-foot long tunnel. As the thorns and the bristles, the dome begins to close in on itself. He just waves and smiles as you slowly and steadily lose sight on him. You find yourselves standing around the woods where you originally had come in from. And you know the most nearest place to you be Baron Bark's hut. But whether or not you want to return there, whether or not you want to force Inara to reveal herself, if you want to fight the shepherd, or if you want to go somewhere else, you have now effectively been given the clue you need to get past the way line.
How much?
Having heard,
Sorry, I was just wondering how much time, like if time in there was different from out here. Do
No.
we have any?
No,
Okay.
no, it was the same time zone. So
Okay, all right.
having heard Fexton's name, I'm itching for a fight, so I want to go kill the shepherd.
okay.
I'm probably on board with you on that one. That pissed me off.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. I want to see if I can get this magic going.
So, you guys forced to stare into recollections of the past that you had hoped had been forgotten, and some of you information that you're glad to have found, or maybe not, depending on how you make use of that information. You begin making your way back towards the lake. When you cross past the tree threshold, you can see Baron Bark's hut on the other side. You can see him cutting wood away. And as you start sailing your way back across the water, a reflection in the water will show you. You can see the hut reflected in the water. You can see Baron Bark in the water. Like, this is the reflection, cutting wood, as he were. And there is a spectral, white, feminine form floating over him, staring down at him, solemnly, hopefully. As you stare over to the real Baron Bark, there is nothing there. And that is where we will end tonight's session.